All right, we're going to be looking at using area models to illustrate this now. So 3 and 5/10 times 3. So remember, an area model, if you remember that from last year, is you are multiplying digits by digits according to place value in order to get the area of a square or a rectangle. So here what I've done is created one side, which is going to be 3 and 5/10 long, and another side, which is going to be 3 wide. So we find the area that's inside each one of these. So here I'd say this is 3 times 3, right? So it's 3 by 3, and that's 9. Here this is 3 by 5/10, which is another way of saying I have 3 groups of 5/10. So 5, 10, 15/10, which is 1 and 5/10. 3 times 5/10 is 15/10. Okay. Now some of you are thinking, oh, but Mr. Darts, isn't this supposed to be 3 times 5/10 and 5? That's 3 times 5, that's 15. Why is the decimal there? Well, that's because, remember, this is not 5, that's 5/10. So that's actually a tenth of 5. Now, that sounds crazy, but let me illustrate a little bit, just really quickly what that means. That's 5/10, right? And I'm going to say I have 3 of those. So that's really, so multiply by 3, that's really 15/10, right? Which is not 15 ones, it's not 15 wholes, it's 15/10, which is 1 whole and 5/10. Okay, and later in the week we'll talk about what you're going to do. You're going to be moving this decimal whenever you get to the product. I'll just show very quickly what that looks like. That's 15, and remember that's not 5 ones, so it can't be 15, it's 15/10. So we need to compensate down here for the fact that we're working with tenths and not ones, so we move the decimal over 1. Okay, we'll get more into that later in the week, but just suffice it to say, okay, remember, I'm not multiplying 5, I'm multiplying 5/10. When I'm multiplying with decimals, you have to keep that in mind. So that, again, that's 3 groups of 5/10, right? So 5 times 3 is 15. 15 what? 15/10. So the way that I would represent that as a decimal would be 1 and 5/10. All right, so then I would just add up my partial products. So here I have a 9 and a 1 and 5/10. Remember, we have to line them up according to place value. So 9 ones and 0 tenths. So 5 plus 0 is 5. Bring down my decimal. 9 plus 1 is 10. So 10 and 5/10. Okay. Let's do the next one, 2 and 3/10. So I'm going to make a rectangle where one side is going to be, I split it up, 2, and then 3/10, and then 4. And so I'm going to find the area, or the partial products here, of each one of these rectangles. So 2 times 4, and then 4 times 3/10, which that should be backwards. That's backwards. Sorry, it's 4 times 2. There we go. 4 times 2, and then 4 times 3/10. Okay, so here, 4 times 2 is 8. All right, so that's that one. 4 times 3 is 12. Remember, that's going to be 4 times 3/10, so that's going to be 12/10, right? 12/10 is the same thing as 1 and 2/10. Again, if I'm multiplying, that's 3 times 4, 4 times 3, which is 12. But remember, that's not 3, that's a tenth of 3. That's 3/10. So I have to compensate down here by moving that decimal back over. All right, so that's 1 and 2/10. So then I just add up my partial products of 8 and 1 and 2/10. Add those up. That's 2/10, and that's 9. 9 and 2/10. And there's my answer.